If you love the Old West, you may think you were born 100 years too late. But the Wild West is still out there, and we'll show you how to find it. This is today's Wild West. Coming up, the amazing career of Hollywood stuntman Loren, Western artist Ren River, the college course that'll teach you how to ride, and cowboy action shooting on foot and horseback. Hi, I'm Mark Bedore, and today we're at the 8th annual Great Northfield Raid. Now, the original Northfield Raid was back in September of 1876, when Jesse James and his gang got shot to pieces trying to rob a bank in Northfield, Minnesota. Today, Colt 45s and Winchester rifles will blaze away once again, but this time, it's just for fun. Gunslingers are dressed to kill. Everybody's got an itchy trigger finger. Just can't wait to open fire on all those targets.
You're going to start off with 2 handguns loaded with 5 rounds, holstered, an empty shotgun.
Welcome to the world of cowboy action shooting, where modern-day gunslingers fire 45s, rifles, and shotguns in a race against the clock and their own accuracy. The guns are real, so are the bullets, and safety is issue number 1.
Basically, we run what's called a cold range. Nobody runs around with a gun anytime that has ammo in it unless they're getting ready to shoot.
Wolf, the cowboy nickname of Kent Bartels, is in charge.
I am the range safety officer for the club that puts the shoot on.
Wolf keeps a close eye on all the proceedings. Anyone who violates the rules in the slightest way is disqualified. But this sport has never had a single serious injury. That's because there are lots of built-in precautions. Competitors check in with the loading judge when it's their turn to fire. The judge checks to see that the gun is empty, then watches as the bullets are loaded. With safety assured, the fun can begin. Shooters fire their shotgun, rifle, and pistols and must hit the targets in the order of each particular match. When the shooting stops, a judge rechecks the guns to make sure they're empty. Most of the competitors at this particular stage are men, but the game is open to anyone, like Colorado Katie. You're proof that this is an equal opportunity sport.
It's fun.
Lee Lindell has been target shooting since she was a kid in Illinois, but this is the most fun with a gun she's ever had.
Because it's a little bit more difficult because you have to do things in order and you're on the clock.
A big part of the fun are the Old West outfits and aliases. Whatever these folks do from Monday through Friday, come the weekend, they're all cowboys, or cavalry officers, or gunslingers, or gamblers, or whatever character they've chosen to become.
You got one more pistol. It's just so fun to be able to fulfill a childhood fantasy.
And for David Jones and David Jr., it's a great chance for father and son to spend time together.
It's bonded our relationship immensely in the last year. Open that. It's empty. Open it. Now the 2. Remember the 2 on the back?
Youngsters are welcome, and while they're having fun, they'll also learn gun safety and responsibility. But in a way, everybody out here is a kid. After all, what kid didn't grow up wanting to be a cowboy? This is your chance to make that dream come true, no matter how old you are.
Everybody is happy and friendly and want to help everybody, and it's just fun to be here.
And you're welcome to join the party.
I'd like to have more people join it. It's really a lot of fun and a lot of comradeship.
Cowboy action shooters will be glad to help you get started, just like they did with Don Busick, better known here as Gunhawk.
They said, well, come on, shoot, you look like a cowboy. And I said, well, I don't have any guns. And about 5 cowboys jumped in and were handing me rifles and shotguns.
Today's shoot is now over. Time to put away all that hardware. Dinner's on the grill, and later there will be music and dancing.
So it is a little bit of a social club too. That's one reason why I like it a lot.
Next, a different kind of cowboy action shooting, on horseback.
I've been riding my whole life, and I'm a speed junkie, I guess. I love it.
Why do you do it?
Fun. That's the only reason.
It's kind of like potato chips, can't eat just one.
This is mounted cowboy action shooting. It's one fun way to spend the day.
I come out of there completely adrenalized. My hands are shaking, my legs are shaking. It's so much fun.
Mounted shooting looks something like barrel racing with guns. Riders race the clock through a predetermined course, blasting balloons along the way. The guns are real. The bullets are blanks, but their black powder charge can kill a balloon up to 15 feet away.
So by using the blanks, you have the sound and the black powder and the smoke, but it's really safe and we don't have to worry about, shooting anybody.
Joe Whiteley is president of the California Desperados, the mounted shooting group putting this match on. He spends his work week at Boeing, building spaceships for NASA. On the weekends, he's a cowboy.
I work in the future and I relive the Old West, and sometimes they pick up the nickname, they call me the Space Cowboy.
His official alias out here is Gentleman Joe.
I don't know how I acquired that. I just came up with that name several years ago. I guess everybody thought I was a nice guy or something, so I kind of assumed that name. Of course, my son doesn't think that. He has other names for me, but...
Part of the fun of reenacting the Old West is making it as authentic as possible. So everybody goes by an alias, and most everyone dresses the part.
This is a riding skirt. This was very popular for the women riders back in the 1800s.
Take Calico Star, for example. If you forget her name, just check out those holsters. His 21-year-old ain't your father's gunslinger. John Wayne never left lipstick on his horse's nose for good luck in a gunfight.
Oh, that's his lucky kiss.
Calico is also known as Kimberly Harmon. Mom and Dad put her on a horse when she was 3 years old and taught her how to shoot at age 12. You can tell they were good teachers.
And touch 12 when you go, get ready.
You have to teach kids to respect the firearm. You have to teach kids how to use a firearm and use it safely. And then you make sure that they're not easily accessible.
Guns are getting kind of a bad rap these days.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. I don't agree with that. I think you'd have to learn how to use the guns, teach children how to use them, take them to target ranges, and just show them what's up. You know, a car can be just as dangerous as a gun.
The Harmons have been playing Wild West as a family for years, performing in places like Tombstone, Arizona with a reenactment group called the High Mountain Gunfighters.
One of her favorite things is always hitting me over the head with a bottle, and she's got to be quite good. I've been hit quite a few times.
And just like the Harmons, this whole crowd looks like one big happy family. These mounted shooters range in age from 13-year-olds to great-granddads, and all those smiles speak for themselves.
It's just being able to be in a great group of people, the whole crowd, all the mounted shooters. They're just wonderful. I love being around that atmosphere. I love being with my horse, and I just have such a high love for the Old West. So all that put together is like a dream come true for me.
Where else can you go and relive the Old West and shoot off your horse and have a good time?
You're invited, and just like those ground shooters, these guys will also help you get started. They even let me give it a try. I'm no Calico Star. She and Ken Klein can outride most any man who saddles up with a 6-gun. And while they've both won national titles, the competition seems to take a back seat to just having some down-to-earth fun.
It's a lot of fun. And I get to be with my horses, and that's the best part. If the horses weren't involved, I wouldn't do it.
Obviously, if you want to be a cowboy mounted shooter, you first have to know how to ride. And just ahead on today's Wild West, we'll take you to a school that'll teach you how to do just that.
The front feet are columns of support.
Horseback riding class at Pierce College in Los Angeles.
You're going to do 3 things with your horse. You either encourage something to happen, or you discourage something from happening, but in either event, you release the pressure when it does happen.
The Pierce College farm makes for a beautiful classroom, but it's a tough class. Just ask Claudia Kenny.
Good rider makes it look real simple.
A lot simpler than it really is.
Yes.
The 42-year-old took her very first horseback ride 2 years ago.
Started with a trail ride up in the Santa Barbara area and absolutely loved it. It was one of those things I always wanted to do.
And so she enrolled in the equestrian program at Pierce. Students here have a lot to do before they ever get in the saddle. Wearing safety helmets, they'll first learn how to catch their horse in a corral, put on the halter, and learn the proper way to tie the animal up at a rail. Then they'll clean out the hooves, brush the coat, and lug over that heavy saddle.
That was a workout, let me tell you.
And that's the simple part. If you're a weekend cowboy, you might think of horses as something like a 4-legged motorcycle. Just jump on the back, step on the gas, and go. But these beautiful animals aren't robots, and there's a lot more to horses than you might think.
A motorcycle doesn't have feelings, doesn't have heart, doesn't have sensitivity, doesn't have any of the good things that make a horse what it is.
Rod Bergen is an accomplished instructor. His clients include the mounted officers of the LA County Sheriff's Department.
The biggest misconception is that you kick them to go and you pull back to stop, and that didn't work that way.
Bergen teaches what he calls the Zen philosophy of riding. He says instead of using force and violence to control the animal, horse and rider should become one, like dancing partners.
Well, same thing. I bring the energy up and my horse follows me. I take my energy down, he follows me on that. He should be listening to my body. We should be riding together.
Horses are incredibly sensitive. Their every hair follicle has the same sensitivity as your fingertips. So, when you think about where you want to go, the horse should automatically follow.
Now, how does a horse know how to do that? Okay? He knows that because every time you do anything with your mind, your body follows. So right now I'm going to move my eyes to the right. My body, because of all the conditioning, is saying I may be going there. So a whole lot of what they call proprioceptive sensors in my body are setting themselves up to go that way. The horse feels that.
It sounds so simple, but Claudia knows better.
Is there a little more to this than you thought?
Yes. That's an understatement, yes.
The problem is that when a person gets on a horse, the first thing that happens is they're afraid they might fall off. So they think the thing to do is to grab with their legs. Well, as soon as you put your leg on a horse, the horse thinks you want him to go. So now the horse starts to go, but you don't want him to go because you're getting concerned, so now you pull back. So we get what we call a whoa-go, okay? Horses go, whoa, go, whoa. Well, that's very confusing.
You won't learn how to do this in a day, but you can learn, no matter how old you are.
You know, they're kind of intimidating, and maybe I'm afraid to even try. What would you say to me?
I'd say we'll put you on a nice quiet horse and we make you get your confidence up. And we let you understand that you do have the ability to interact.
And as the class works on the finer points of getting into the saddle,
skip, skip, skip. Come up to this point here, look straight ahead, and very quietly sit down on your horse.
Claudia says it's all been very worthwhile.
It's harder than I thought it'd be. It's definitely that. It's harder than I thought it'd be. It's probably more enjoyable than I thought.
Now, once you're on a horse, you probably want to stay there, or at least be the one who decides when you get off. But just ahead on today's Wild West, we'll meet a man who made a living out of falling off of horses, legendary Hollywood stuntman Loren Janes. It's become a legendary stunt in Hollywood. The fall from the caboose during the train robbery at the climax of How the West Was Won. No computer gimmicks here. It's all real. And it's all the work of stuntman Loren Janes.
We'd been going back and forth on this 27 miles of narrow gauge track where we were shooting all the various stunts. And there was, every time we go by, there's saguaro cactus all over the place. Well, there's this one, it was a big one.
You could write a book on Janes. His credits include more than 500 films and more than 1,000 episodes of television. He's fallen off cliffs, battled a giant snake in the Swiss Family Robinson, and crashed through countless balconies and fallen off who knows how many horses.
I've fallen off many horses through my life, and doing it deliberately is a little different, but you can plan it, and being a gymnast and acrobat, I know where I am in the air, I know how to turn over, I know how to go head first and duck and hit on the shoulder and flip and flop and that sort of thing.
Janes worked with the biggest stars in Hollywood. He's doubled for Jack Nicholson, Yul Brynner, and was Steve McQueen's stunt double for his entire career, including this harrowing scene in McQueen's final film, The Hunter. But one of his favorite movies is one of mine, the classic thrilling Western, How the West Was Won. It was shot in 5 segments, and Loren did 80% of the stunts in 3 of those. And when he wasn't performing in front of the camera, Janes was behind the lens of his home movie camera, documenting the making of this incredible film.
And then I had other people do the same thing. I'd pick the spots and the angles I wanted them, and then they'd film me doing my stunts, and I'd film other people. And
that's Loren getting shot by an arrow during the Indian attack on the wagon train and getting trampled by the galloping horses of the pursuing Indians. And while it appears to be Debbie Reynolds who falls off her wagon, it's really Janes who falls, and Janes who vaults onto the back of the horse that races by to pick him up.
So I had the loose horses running all around me and the wagon coming at me, and I've got to watch them so they don't kick me and knock me down and then catch his arm to swing up behind him.
What's the most dangerous stunt you ever did?
They all are, because if a stunt seems very simple and easy and the stunt person says, this is, no sweat, this is an easy thing, then you might relax a little too much take it for granted and not be primed and get hurt seriously.
And while all stunts may be dangerous, few are as thrilling to watch as the ones Janes did on How the West Was Won. Janes is one of the outlaws robbing the train at the end of the film. The gun battle rages. A bullet breaks the chain holding logs to a flat car, and the logs fly about, tossing outlaws off into the dust. But Jane's character ends up dangling from a log just as it crosses a bridge over a 189-foot deep gorge. And there's no net to fall into until the train gets to the other side.
Going backwards, I have to keep looking under my arm and over my shoulder to see where the net is, and then I have to let go before I get to the net because of forward momentum. So I'd let go. When I let go, there's nothing but 189 feet down with rocks. But momentum, I timed it just right, carried me, and I carried over, and then I saw the net come under me, and I hit the net.
Then there's the classic of them all, the fall from the top of the caboose. The stunt was the idea of director Richard Talmadge.
Because he's always trying to find something. He said, I'm going to find something someday you can't do.
Janes went to work. He used a blowtorch to burn off the needles where he'd hit the cactus. Then he cut the taproot so it would fall over at just the right speed. Then Janes had to figure out how to time that unforgettable jump.
And if I'd missed it, if I'd been late, I'd have gone, and around the curve there was a whole side of just big boulders, and I'd have lit on the boulders.
Weren't you ever frightened doing those kinds of stunts? I mean, most people would be terrified to do something like that.
Yeah, and that's why they're not stuntmen or stunt women. See, one thing that all stunt people have to have, male or female, because there's great stunt women also, is you can't have fear. If you have fear, you're in trouble. That you react different, you do things different with fear. You can't have that fear. That's the worst thing in the world. But the other quality that they all have to have is that when things get tough, things go wrong, the fire gets too big, the explosion, and you're really under pressure, the stunt person has to be a person that remains cool, calm, collected, thinks clearly. You know, if something goes wrong, you figure, well, how do I save myself? How do I save the shot? How do I save other people around? And you may think of 5 or 6 ways to get out of it and to save the thing or whatever, and then you pick the best one and do it in a matter of a fraction of a second.
Throughout his amazing career, Janes never even broke a single bone. The 69-year-old is now retired from stunt work, but he still works as a stunt coordinator, second unit director, and does an acting job from time to time. He recently married concert pianist Jan Sanborn, and the two share a beautiful home in the Angeles National Forest outside Los Angeles. And despite a career in the world's most glamorous business, Loren is at heart a cowboy with a genuine love for the American West and all that heritage stands for.
There was honor and integrity, and you need honesty and integrity and morals and people standing for something what's right and fight for it.
Up next, a very different look at the West from artist Ren River. Ren River paints the life she leads, and that life is a unique blend of many influences. Her studio is in the congested city of Los Angeles, but her inspiration is the wide open spaces of the American West and the people and animals who live there.
That really appeals to me. I just love that. And I don't like to have a lot of things in my paintings. I like it kind of almost like huge space.
Her work is not the realism of traditional Western art. It's kind of a cross between realism and impressionism.
If you're painting in realism, you don't necessarily take them to another place. You take them to a place they've seen before. And that's what I like about being this abstract Western artist, is the color might send you someplace, the clouds over the characters might send you someplace, the beaches definitely take you to another dimension, and there are usually not a lot of figures in my pieces. So it kind of makes you a little bit more pensive, and I think that's kind of enjoyable.
Ren's love affair with the West began as a little girl at her father's ranch outside Los Angeles.
My mom, the total opposite. Now, she had a nightclub, a wild, wild nightclub, and that's where my music interest and my poetry came in. I used to perform in the club.
We all laughed at each other, sang songs to one another.
All of those interests come together in a very listenable CD called Buckin' Heart. It's a mixture of poetry, painting, and music.
There's pain to poop when it's leaving the chutes. That old bucking heart is just a feeling the blues.
I tell stories, and my stories take you to the places my paintings are.
Those paintings are based on real places, real working cattle ranches in Nevada and Texas.
I started going to Cowboy poetry gathering because I'm a poet also, and I write a lot of poetry. I met a lot of wonderful poets there and a lot of really nice ranchers and a lot of friends, and they've invited me onto their ranches.
That led to lengthy stays at some of the biggest ranches in the American West, where she experienced cowboy life firsthand. The hard work, the beautiful country, and the down-to-earth people.
The lifestyles, the way they lived with their families, and how they were very close, and something you don't see very much anymore. It's very old-fashioned. I guess I like that.
Wren took her camera along, photographing the people and places she would later recreate in painting and poetry.
And I met some wonderful cowboys, and one in particular that I used to write quite a bit about.
I remember the first time I saw you, the first time my eyes laid upon you.
While Wren's work is based on real life, she always rearranges what she sees in intriguing ways.
I will take a photograph that's totally in the daytime and paint it in the evening, which is something you don't see very often in horse riders. You don't see them riding at night. So there's kind of a mystery involved in that. I kind of like that.
Another mystery you'll see in many of Wren's paintings is an ominous little cloud hovering above her subject.
Why the white clouds?
I just don't know. I love clouds, and I think sometimes just one cloud up there, you kind of just wonder why.
Lately, she's been documenting the cowboys and cowgirls of Southern California, like this work, Bartow Cowgirls, and another, California Cowgirl.
We went out to the ocean, went riding. Again, it was a really pretty day, but I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more mysterious with this ominous, white cloud out there, make it a little bit different.
Everything about Wren's work is a little different. Paintings that have an identity all their own, traditional subjects in untraditional settings, painted in colors few people would think of. It's an intriguing, mesmerizing, fascinating combination, and it's one that's made Wren River a truly unique and successful artist. To learn more about Wren River's painting, her CD, and other work, contact her on the internet at wrenriver.com. Well, that's it for this edition. We'll be back next time with more cool stuff from today's Wild West. I'm Mark Fedor. See you down the trail.